beautiful offerings. They were scholarly, they were erudite, full of based on the authority of Krishna consciousness, and foremost they were full of bhakti, or devotion to the Lord, to the spiritual master, and to the Vaishnavas. So everyone was pleased. Krishna is pleased seeing his devotees make advancement. The spiritual master is pleased seeing his disciples remain steady in Krishna consciousness year after year. It's not so easy. You always say it's easy. Chant, dance, please. Krishna also gives a warning. Like when you're driving, there's sometimes warning signs. Slow down and think about it. How you take that turn. Daiviyesha gunamayi mamamayi. That this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, Krishna admits it's difficult to overcome, but those who surrender unto me can easily. Sometimes Prabhupada will give the analogy of the spider's web. The spider spins the web, and because it's coming from her and by nature's way, she can walk all over the spider web and not get entangled. But as soon as a little fly unknowingly comes along and gets caught, and the web is done for. So for materialistic persons who have no knowledge of how to extradite themselves from the entanglement of material life by becoming devotees, yes, it's a terrible place. But for devotees who have the guidance of the spiritual master and our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada and our previous acharyas, it's not that difficult. We're like the spider in the web. We don't get entangled. We move about, we do like everyone else, but we're doing it for Krishna. So there's no entanglement. So we're happy to see that you're making advancement. I mention it every year. Prabhupada has said that one can understand the quality of a Vaishnava or Vaishnavi when they speak. And so many beautiful offerings there. There were many tears today. And as Gaur Govinda Maharaj said one time, I said it yesterday, they asked him, what is the essence, the newspaper reporter, what is the essence of your movement? How would you describe this Hare Krishna movement? And if it was a newspaper reporter, I would have said, well, our philosophy is based on an ancient spiritual tradition, at least 5,000 years old, Bhagavad Gita. Human life is meant for spiritual advancement, and the first step is to understand, I am not the body. And the prescribed method of becoming self-realized, God-conscious is to chant the holy names. That's what I would have said. But he replied, when he was asked, what is the essence of your movement? He said, crying, crying, crying. But not sad tears, but tears of happiness. And we begin to experience that love and Krishna consciousness in each other's association. Under the direction of our spiritual precepts, all culminates in love for the divine couple. So this is one of my favorite days of the year. I just love it, to sit here and get glorified. No. It's all Prabhupada's mercy, so we can have loving exchanges. And as I mentioned yesterday evening, for those of you who are present at the class in the manor, today's also a special day, a most special day, because on our Vaishnava calendar, this is the celebration of the Panihati festival, or the chipped rice festival. And with your permission, I would like to speak something about that event. For me, it's more important because it's a pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Yuga Avatar, by whose mercy we're all sitting here today. And this pastime of Panihati, the Chipped Rice Festival, there's many instructions as well about the guru-disciple relationship. So we'll read a little bit from the Chaitanya Charitamrita by Kaviraj Goswami about the chipped rice festival, and I'll speak and I'll weave in as well some inspiration for you and for me to increase our loving relationship and become valuable instruments in Srila Prabhupada's hands for spreading Krishna consciousness in this great country of Britain. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda 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 Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindam Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrindam. I won't read that Bengali because you need a magnifying glass to read this particular book as it's printed here today. But we'll begin from text 43. In the village of Panihati, Raghunath Das obtained an interview with Nityananda Prabhu, who was accompanied by many kirtan performers, servants, and others. Sitting on a rock under a tree on the bank of the Ganges, Lord Nityananda seemed as effulgent as hundreds of rising suns. Many devotees sat on the ground surrounding him. Seeing the influence of Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath Das was astonished. Raghunath Das offered his obeisances by falling prostrate at a distant place, and the servant of Nityananda Prabhu pointed out, "Oh, there is Raghunath Das offering you obeisances." Hearing this, Lord Nityananda Prabhu said, "You are a thief. Now you have to come see me. Come here, come here. Today I shall punish you." The Lord called him, but Raghunath did not go near the Lord. Then the Lord forcibly caught him and placed his lotus feet upon Raghunath Das's head. Lord Nityananda was by nature very merciful and funny. Being merciful, he spoke to Raghunath Das as follows: "You are just like a thief, who instead of coming near, you stay away at a distant place. But now I have captured you. I shall punish you." And what is the punishment? The Lord said, "Make a festival and feed all of my associates yogurt and chipped rice." Hearing this, Raghunath Das was greatly pleased. Raghunath Das immediately sent his own men to the village to purchase all kinds of edibles and bring them back. Raghunath Das brought chipped rice, yogurt, milk, sweetmeats, sugar, bananas, and other edibles, and placed them all around. As soon as they heard that a festival was going to be held, all kinds of brahmanas and other gentlemen began to arrive. Thus, in due course of time, there were innumerable people. Om Gyantimadandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayambhuva Dharamaya Tadati Sarvadantikam. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Good news that we're all gathered today to hear the glories of this festival, the festival of chipped rice, the Panihati festival, which is being observed all over the world, in all the temples of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In these verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, we hear Lord Nityananda instructing Raghunath Das Goswami specifically. Actually, at this point, he's still Raghunath Das. He's instructing Raghunath Das to feed all of his associates and all the devotees of the Lord and even the local brahmanas and the common people a feast of chipped rice and yogurt. In honor of that, this morning we had some chipped rice and some bananas and some yogurt. It wasn't exactly like what I imagine a Sunday feast is like. You know, rasgulas and jalebis and burfi and different types of sabjis and samosas and kichoris. I'm getting hungry. But that pastime took place on the bank of the Ganges at Panihati, which is just north of Calcutta. And this pastime took place actually during the monsoon season. Now, if you've ever been in India during the monsoon season, it's very hot and it's very muggy. So Nitai, very intelligently, he ordered foodstuffs that the devotees considered very cooling, like dahi. You know, in the old days in India, there wasn't a lot of medicine around, and so when we got sick, like we got diarrhea, we wouldn't drink milk because milk heats the body. With yogurt, dahi cools the body. And to some degree so do bananas. So whenever we get sick, we wouldn't go to the allopathic doctor, we wouldn't go to the Ayurveda, we just buy some yogurt and bananas, and sometimes it worked. But essentially these foodstuffs, which Nitai asked Raghunath Das Goswami to serve the devotees by, because out of the process of Krishna consciousness, we enjoy chanting, we enjoy dancing, we enjoy Harikatha, and we look forward to the feast. I'm sure it's not out of your mind today that there's going to be some prasadam here. And as I humorously said yesterday, many times these days at our ISKCON temples, you know, I'll come somewhere, I'll be in Sydney, or I'll be in Auckland, or I'll be in Rio de Janeiro, and I'll be giving a lecture on Sunday, and there's 20 people. And at the Kirtan, the Artik, there's 30 people, but then when it's time for the prasadam around 7 o'clock, there's 500 people. So therefore Mahaprabhu, he even described that this prasadam, it's Lord Chaitanya's secret weapon. And we must always remember that it is absolute. The name, fame, form, paraphernalia, pastimes of the Lord, by tadiya, by association with the Lord, they're absolute, they're not different than the Lord. So therefore when we take prasadam, we don't eat prasadam. We respect prasadam. And in that light, I remember whenever Prabhupada would take prasadam, he would always take alone. Because we were young, passionate men and girls, and you know, what you want to take. We'd say that prayer so fast, you know. But Prabhupada, I'd sometimes watching him eat, prasad would be placed there, and you could tell he was praying, and he would look at the prasad, and with great awe and reverence, he would take that prasad and put it in his mouth, and he would meditate on, now I understand this, Krishna's mercy, and mercy we need. So the foodstuffs was prepared like that, and Raghunath Das was engaged by Lord Nityananda in this way because feasts are quite expensive. If you're a temple manager, you'll know that a great part of the budget for the temple each month or each year is the prasadam. We sometimes take it for granted. We shouldn't, but we come and the prasad's there and it's generally free. And, you know. But managers, this is their headache. Where to get the Lakshmi to pay? Because we want to serve the Lord very nicely with foodstuffs, and we want to please Him by serving His devotees very nicely. Prasadam. So this was an expensive endeavor. When the word got out, we're reading here, as the word got out, it said, so many people started coming to take prasadam. So Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Das at that time, again, he was born in a wealthy family. We don't have time today to go into the whole Leela, I wish we could, but he was born in a very, very wealthy family, and actually at one point he was married to a very beautiful girl. He had all the opulences that a person could dream of in material life. In those days he was the 1%. You often talk now in modern society that 90% of the wealth in this world is owned and controlled by 1% of the population. Wealthy, the Rockefellers, and this and that, and they. So generally when you have that kind of money, it goes to your head. Money makes money. Why do I need God? This is the fallacy that develops in that type of arrogance. I have this, I have that, I have security, I have that. Doesn't always happen, but generally you find often people it goes to the head. But not in the case of Raghunath Das Goswami. His renunciation is particularly remarkable because, if you have nothing and you say, I'm going to renounce, like, okay. But if you have everything and you renounce it for the service of the Lord, that is something to be noticed. So, he took this service very seriously. It doesn't mention how much he spent, but you could say it was the beginning of his renunciation. And he used that money in the service of the devotees. Serving the devotees of the Lord brings great auspiciousness. Shushusho shudananasya vasudeva kata ruchi siyam mahat sevaya vipra punyatirtha nisheva.